The Long Walk, chapter number 14. In this video, we are going to continue where we stopped the last time we uploaded and recorded a video. We recorded and uploaded a video of this book written by Stephen King during the 70s or 60s under the pseudonym of Richard Bachman. Here we continue. Let us read first the last line of the chapter where we stayed. Jesus, what do you think? He ought to be wearing a beat me hard sign. I wonder what he's trying to make up for. Well, I don't know, Garrity said. He was going to add something else, but so Pearson wasn't listening anymore. He was watching his feet again. His weary features drawn lines of horror. He had lost his shoes. The dirty, white athletic socks on his feet made great white arcs in the darkness. They passed a sign that said Lewiston 32, and a mile beyond that an arced electric sign that proclaimed Garrity number 47 in light bulb lettering. They passed that sign. Garrity wanted to doze, but was unable. He knew what Pearson meant about his back. His own spine felt like a blue rod of fire. The muscles at the backs of his legs were open, flaming sores. The numbness in his feet was being replaced by an agony much more sharp and defined than any that had gone before. He was no longer hungry, but he ate a few concentrates anyway. Several walkers were nothing but flesh-covered skeletons, concentration camp horrors. Garrity didn't want to get like that, but of course he was anyway. He was anyway. He ran a hand up his side and played the xylophone on his ribs. I haven't heard from Barkovich lately, he said in an effort to raise Pearson from his dreadful concentration. It was altogether too much like Olson reincarnated. No, somebody said one of his legs went stiff on him coming through Augusta. That right? That's what they said. Garrity felt a sudden urge to drop back and look at Barkovich. He was hard to find in the dark, and Garrity drew a warning. But finally, he spotted Barkovich, now back in the rear echelon. Barkovich was scurrying gimply along, his face set in strained lines of concentration. His eyes were slitted down to a point where they looked like dimes, seam edged on. His jacket was gone. He was talking to himself in low, strained monotone. Hello, Barkovich, Garrity said. Barkovich twitched, stumbled, and was warned. Third warning. There! Barkovich screamed shrewdly. There! See what you did? Are you and your hot shit friends satisfied? You don't look so good, Garrity said. Barkovich smiled cunningly. It's all a part of the plan. You remember when I told you about the plan? Didn't believe me. Olson didn't. Davidson neither. Gribble neither. Barkovich's nose dropped to a succulent whisper, pregnant with spit. Garrett, they dance on their graves. Your leg hurt? Garrity asked softly. Say, isn't that awful? Say, isn't that awful? Just 35 left to walk down. They're all going to fall apart tonight. You'll see. There won't be a dozen left on the row when the sun comes up. You'll see. You and your diddy-bop friends, Garrity. All dead by morning. Dead by midnight. Garrity felt suddenly very strong. He knew that Markovich would soon go now. He wanted to break into a run, bruised kidneys, an aching spine, and screaming feet and all. Run and tell McBryce he was going to be able to keep his promise. Ha! What will you ask for? Garrity said aloud. When you win? Barkovich grinned gleefully as if he had been waiting for the question. In the uncertain light, his face seemed to crumple and squeeze, as if pushed and pummeled by giant hands. Plastic feet, he whispered. Plastic feet, Garrity. I'm just gonna have these ones cut off. Fuck 'em if they can't take that joke. I have new plastic feet. Put on and put these ones in a laundromat, washing machine, and watch them go around and around and around. I thought maybe you wish for friends, Garrity said sadly. A heady sense of triumph, suffocating and enthralling, roared through him. Huh? Friends? Because you don't have any, Garrity said pityingly. We'll all be glad to see you die. No one's gonna miss you, Gary. Maybe I'll walk behind you and spit on your brains after they blow them all over the road. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe we all will. It was crazy, crazy, as if his whole head was flying off. It was like when he had swerved the barrel of the air rifle at Jimmy. The blood. Jimmy screamed. His whole head had gone hit hazy with the savage, primitive justice of it. Don't hate me, Barkovich was whining. Why do you want to hate me? I don't want to die any more than you do. What do you want? Do you want me to be sorry? I'll be sorry. I I will all spit in your brains, said Garrity said crazily. Do you want me to touch me too? Do you want to touch me too? Barkovich looked at him palely, his eyes confused and vacant. I'm sorry, Garrett. I'm sorry, Garrett whispered. He felt degraded and dirty. He hurried away from Barkovich. Damn you, McBryce, he thought. Why? Why? At once the guns roared, and there were two of them falling down, dead. At once, and one of them had to be Barkovich. Had to be. And this time it was his fault. He was the murderer. Then Barkovich was laughing. Barkovich was cackling, higher and madder, and even more audible than the madness of the crowd. Garrity! Garrity! I'll dance on your grave, Garrity! I'll dance! Ah, shut up! Abraham yelled. Shut up, you little prick! Barkovich stopped, then began to sob. Go to hell! Go to hell, Abraham muttered. No, you did it, Collie Parker said reproachfully. You made him cry, Abe. You bad boy. He's gonna go home and tell his mommy. Barkovich continued to sob. It was an empty, ashy sound that made Garrett's skin crawl. There was no hope in it. Is little Uggy Wiggy gonna tell mommy? Quince called back. Huh, Barkovich. Ain't that too bad? Leave him alone, Garrett screamed in his mind. Leave him alone. You have no idea how bad he's hurting. But what kind of lousy, hypocritical thought was that? He wanted Barkovich to die. Might as well as admit it. He wanted Barkovich to crack up and croak off. And Stebbins was probably back there in the dark, laughing at them all. He hurried, caught up with McBryce, who was ambling along, and staring idly at the crowd. The crowd was staring back at him avidly. Why don't you help me decide? McBride said. Sure. What's the topic for decision? Who's in the cage? Us or them? Garrity laughed with genuine pleasure. All of us. And the cage is in the Major's monkey house. McBride didn't join Garrity's laughter. Barkovich is going over the high side, isn't he? Yes, I think so. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it anymore. It's lousy, and it's a cheat. You build it all around something, set yourself on something, and then you don't want it. Isn't it too bad when the great truths are all such lies? Huh, I never thought much about it. Do you realize it's almost 10 o'clock? Huh, it's like practicing pole vaulting all your life and then getting to the Olympics and saying, what the hell do I want to jump over that stupid bar for? Oh, yeah. You almost could care, right? McBride said, nettled. It's getting harder to work me up, Garrity admitted. He, he paused. Something had been troubling him badly for some time now. Baker had joined them. Garrity looked from Baker to McBride and then back again. Hey, did you see Olsen's? Did you see his hair before he bought it? What about it? What about his hair? What about his hair? Baker asked. It was going grey. No, that's crazy, McBride said, but he suddenly sounded very scared. No, it was dust or something. No, it was grey. Grey. You know, Garrett said. It seems like we've been on this road forever. It was Olson's hair. It was Olson's hair getting that way that make you think of it first, but maybe this is some crazy kind of immortality. The thought was terribly depressing. He stared straight ahead into the darkness, feeling the soft wind against his face. I walk, I did walk, I will walk, I will have walked, McBride chanted. Shall I translate it into Latin? We are suspended in time, Garrity thought. Their feet moved, but they did not. The cherished cigarette glows in the crowd. The occasional flashlight or flaring sparkler might have been stars. Weird how constellation that marked their existence ahead and behind, narrowing into nothing both ways. Bruh, Garrity said, shivering. A guy could go crazy. Ah, that's right, Pearson agreed, and then laughed nervously. They were starting up a long, twisting hill. The road was now expansion jointed concrete, hard on the feet. It seemed to Garrity that he felt every pebble through the paper thinness of his shoes. The frisky wind had scattered shallow drifts of candy wrappers, popcorn boxes, and other assorted muck in their way. At some places they almost had to fight their way through. It's not fair. It's not fair, Garrity thought self-pityingly. What's the layout ahead? What's the layout up ahead? McBride asked him apologetically. Garrity closed his eyes and tried to make a map in his head. I can't remember all the little towns. We come to Lewiston. That's the second biggest city in the state. Bigger than Augusta. We go right down the main drag. It used to be Lisbon Street, but now it's Carter Memorial Avenue. Reggie Carter was the only guy from Maine to ever win the long walk. It happened a long time ago. He died, didn't he? Baker said. Yeah, he hemorrhaged in one eye and finished the walk half blind. It turned out that he had a blood clot on his brain. He died a week after. He died a week or so after the walk, and in a feeble effort to remove the onus, Garrity repeated, "It was a long time ago." No one spoke for a while. Candy wrappers crackled under their feet like the sound of a faraway forest fire. A cherry bomb went off in the crowd. Garrity could see a faint likeness on the horizon that was probably the twin cities of Lewiston and Auburn, the land of Dossets and Aubuchons and Lavesques, the land of Nous parlons français ici. Suddenly, Garrity had a nearly obsessive craving for a stick of gum. "What's after Lewiston?" "We go down Route 196 and then 126 to Freeport, where I'm going to see my mom and my girl. That's also where we get the US 1. That's where we stay until it's over." "Huh, the big highway," McBride muttered. "Sure." The guns blasted, and they all jumped. "It was Barkovich or Quince," Person said. "I can't tell. One of them still walking. It's..." Barkovich laughed out in the darkness, a high, gobbling sound, thin and terrifying. "Not yet, you whores! I ain't gone yet! Not yet!" His voice kept climbing and climbing. It was like a fire whistle gone insane, and Barkovich's hands suddenly went like startled doves taking flight, and Barkovich ripped out his own throat. "My Jesus!" Pearson wailed and threw up over himself. They fled from him, fled and scattered ahead and behind, and Barkovich went on screaming and gobbling and clawing and walking, his feral face turned up to the sky, his mouth a twisted curve of darkness. Then the fire whistle sound began to fail, and Barkovich failed with it. He fell down and they shot him, dead or alive. Garrity turned around and walked forward again. He was dimly grateful that he hadn't been warned. He saw a carbon copy of his horror in the faces of all about him. The Barkovich part of it was over. Garrity thought it did not bode well for the rest of them, for their future on this dark and bloody road. "I don't feel good," Person said. His voice was flat. He dry retched and walked double over for a moment. Not so good. Oh God, I don't feel so good. Oh." McFry's looked straight ahead. I wish I were insane," he said thoughtfully. Only Barker said nothing. It was that odd, because Garrity suddenly got a whiff of Louisiana honeysuckle. He could hear the croak of the frogs in the bottoms. He could feel the sweaty, lazy hum of cicadas digging into the tough cypress bark for the dreamless 17-year sleep. And he could see Baker's aunt rocking back and forth, her eyes dreamy and smiley and vacant, sitting on her porch and listening to the static and hum and faraway voices in an old Philca radio with a chipped and cracked mahogany cabinet. Rocking and rocking and rocking, smiling deeply, like a cat that has been into the cream and is well satisfied. End of chapter number 14.